I'm surprised about what people are saying. These kids talking about standing on business. As you may know, we're gonna be talking about the T.I. situation with his son King.
Yes, please delve into it. What's happening?
Well, basically, apparently he was getting like.
So, mind you, T.I. does have more than one son. So, I think he has about 3
I think so.
in total, 2 older ones. And then this is the youngest one.
Trying to get in the rap game, I think.
Yes.
One's a country singer.
Yes. And the other one's a rapper.
And one's on the rapper, yeah.
So, according to this one, King, I think his name is, allegedly, he was on IG Live, I guess, with his parents and some other people. I guess they're styling on him a little bit because they say he's a privileged kid and, you know, you didn't really get to struggle.
Okay.
Now,
which nothing's wrong with that.
Let's break down the whole privilege and struggle thing. I don't understand if you have the opportunity to not be in the hood. Why do you want to be in the hood? Like, why do you want to be solidified as a real nigga type thing, or a lost nigga in Lord of Luck's eyes? Like, what do you get out of that? Like, I understand it's like cred, but like,
because
struggle.
Nah, but like,
because that's what a lot of rap is based off of, anyways.
But
we've grown up with people that came from the suburbs, and it flipped.
Yeah.
And I was always, and not up to now, but like, growing up, I was questioning. I'm like, why did this person flip? I don't get it. They had anything they wanted. What did they not get love at home?
I think that is the reason, though. It's because they never actually. Okay, there's 2 things that I see. Right? Being that you're privileged, you don't actually get to make any mistakes on your own. You look at somebody else's mistakes and you say, oh, well, I guess I shouldn't do that, right? Maybe that's what it is. Or your parents don't even tell you these are the things to look out for. Be mindful of these things. Just don't do these, right? And they kind of put you in a path where you're kind of oblivious of how the process for you to even get into that situation. So I think a lot of people who are privileged, they don't know when errors or downfalls actually look like because they never encountered them.
I mean, that's a good.
No.
They're like protected.
Yeah.
Like they're in their own bubble.
Right. But they're the easiest to be put in those positions and pitfalls.
I just think it's just hip hop culture.
Oh, yo.
To just put people in
not in a
struggle.
In the sense of the struggle sounds good.
I mean, they do say the best music comes out of pain.
Yeah, basically. Basically, the struggle sounds good.
Let's go a little to the left a second. Okay. So is that why they go? I'll even throw in country music too. Is that why they go to like the poorest of the poor, and it's like, well, we know that you want to get out of this situation, so you're gonna give me the best talent, the best vocals, the best whatever.
I mean, you're playing on desperation. That is the biggest part that gets some of the biggest of talents, right? It's desperation sometimes.
Damn.
And that's a real, like, feeling. Like, it's...
When someone hears a struggle in your music, you can't really shake that.
Yeah.
You can't shake it when you can hear it and you know someone's struggle.
Going through in it.
Right.
Like, it's like a child who's hungry and you hear them cry. Like.
And then to market that is a great thing because you can always market struggle. Everybody struggles. Or real niggas or whatever struggles. Right. But at the same time, if you didn't have to struggle, that's okay too. But it doesn't look that way.
But then the question is what, I guess for him, it's like, what do I actually represent as somebody who is talking about certain things? Because say, for example, say he is a Shatas. Like, let's say, right? Say his dad took him out to the range and he got a license so he can shoot his gun.
He's not a Shatas.
I'm just saying.
He's a legal Shata. But it's not, there's no such thing as you can't be a legal Shata.
But that's what I mean, right? Like, why can't he promote safe gun handling and going to the range and going through the obstacle course and shooting? Like,
that doesn't sound great.
Why?
You know what's funny? What Z just said.
It doesn't sound great.
T.I. did something similar with his campaign.
Yeah, but
It's very strange you just said that too.
It doesn't sound great though.
Why doesn't it sound great? To who?
Rolling around with my legalized gun. What, the NRA?
I mean,
To be going and getting your stuff legalized?
That doesn't sound great.
To who?
The streets.
but see,
So then, what does that say about the street?
Scratch the sugar off. People like scratching the sugar off.
or 3D printing one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or stealing.
Why are we promoting that?
I mean, that's just what it is.
I mean, it's not really we at this point.
I don't promote that stuff.
It's
Well, the
Hey.
hip hop culture. Why is that promoted?
I will never be a gangster. I am a thug,
You are no.
which is
you'll never be
truly
gangster, but you'll
humbled
be a
under
thug.
God. Truly humbled under God.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
That's what I've
humbled
Truly
under God.
humbled
Got you.
under God.
Got you.
Thug.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
You know? So when Trick Daddy was a baby, I'm a thug. That's what he meant.
I'm a truly
Truly humbled under God.
I'm a truly humbled under God.
Thug.
Okay.
THUG.
So we gotta go back to school for abbreviation. Got it.
Truly
okay.
humbled
Got it.
under God.
But I'm a truly humbled.
No. I'm just saying. Not I'm a truly humbled. That's like no thug. Truly humbled.
Yeah.
Under God.
That's what it is abbreviated for. But
Yes.
that doesn't make sense.
It's the streets. It don't matter. But anyway,
Wow.
it worked in the court case. But anyway,
It worked
Wow.
in the court
I'm
case.
gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this, guys.
Wow, that's
I am not a gangster. I will never be a gangster. I can never ever be a gangster.
Got you.
I don't see that part in me.
But T.I.'s son, who is trying to be.
trying to be.
Yeah, he said he's about that business.
Why? Like he's who? How old is he? That's the first question.
First thing, I'm tired of you young kids think that you can level with adults, bro.
Yo, that's
And I don't like that you parents never strike the fear of honor and respect to these kids.
I mean, he put him in a full
I know he did, but
Nelson,
but that should have shut him up. Like, there's certain things that my parents can do when they look at you, when you're acting out. It should.
just bam.
They don't teach that to these kids anymore.
I mean,
Behave yourself. Know yourself. Know yourself.
what are we knowing here?
Like,
what are we
you
knowing?
try to go out a certain way. You try to go out a certain
why
way.
is
I
he-
stand down, bit.
Why is he
Touching
asking-
eyes. Stopping eyes about business.
But I mean,
You don't have no business.
Okay, but like again, how old is
He was
How old
12.
is
They
he?
were saying that he didn't want to be in the streets. He wanted to be in grandma because he was sucking a pacifier. He said, you were your grandma for 12 years because you wanted to suck a pacifier. And he called the pacifier a passy,
Okay,
nicknaming the pacifier.
okay,
And then you want to talk about you standing on business?
okay.
That is ridiculous.
I heard you. But maybe in those 4 years from Passy to without Passy, he's learned a lot.
I'm going to say this.
I mean-
I currently live in Brampton.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Honestly,
I currently
Let me
live in
find out how
Brampton.
old he is.
I currently live in Brampton. I don't know if that's a privilege or not. I mean, take it as you will. But
That is a very take it as you will. Yeah,
I struggled enough to say that I could talk about some struggles because I know what it felt like when my parents used to say, "Do you have McDonald's money?" A lot of kids haven't been said that to them enough.
so he's 19. He's not that young.
Exactly. So I don't think he knows what "Do you have McDonald's money" means. Just those terms say a lot with struggle. I don't think a lot of people know what like corned beef and rice is, mac and cheese with hot dogs,
or a craft dinner with hot
craft
dogs.
dinners, ramen noodles with salt.
Oh,
I
he's the one who got the veneers.
Which I
exactly. We never had veneers then.
Yes.
We had cavities.
I'm rolling.
Like,
I know cavities are still a thing, but are they as no? Hold on. No, are they as
silver
common?
Fillings,
Yeah.
Silver fillings back then. It wasn't like
Yes, they are.
yes.
Really?
Cavities aren't anything that you're gonna be like losing out on or anything. They haven't figured out ways to stop having cavities.
Exactly.
The dentists need to be in business. Come on now.
Amen. Amen. Hey, yo.
Yeah, so I feel like yes, there's certain struggles I can go on like and say, yeah, I wasn't outside in the streets.
Okay.
And I was aware of it, but I wasn't like, I'm not no gangster. I can't be no gangster, man. Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me. Me,
Okay.
a thug,
Wow.
a gangster.
Uh-huh.
Like, I like watching battle rap when they say, "What's your life like?" What's your life like? When you were at home, what was it? What's your life like? If you were putting a nose on a Mr. Potato Head, I was put a potato on a nose, and the nose meant the gun. Silencer, potato, you know.
See, I don't even know all of that. Wow.
Exactly.
See, but
Tells you where my focus is. Oh,
Exactly.
nowhere near the streets.
Like I could talk about, I could talk about some street stuff, but to say I'm a part of the streets, no. I know my place. I know where I'm at.
Well, maybe he sees himself there.
But you can't be.
doesn't even make
It's not how it works.
I know it's not something.
They say soldier from the hood.
Right? Like, I just walk up out of my house, out of my parents' house, and just walk over to the hood. Like, I get it. I get it. These people are out here trying to exit left and being where your mama and papa are. Like, I understand.
But you coming to the hood like that is a convenience.
But then that's
Not staying there, like not having to stay there.
But that's the other thing. Like, for him, there's a lot of things that the hood provides that he was not able to get in his privilege. And that's part of it.
But do you even need it?
But that's the thing. Like, some of the best cookouts was from the hood.
Okay.
I mean,
Like, the way that people would chill out, spend time with each other, kikiing, all that stuff.
There was a time where we were all broke
Yeah.
and we would laugh about those jokes.
Yeah.
Like I remember like days, like my old friend back in the day, we used to laugh at like the joke was like, how far are you on the negatives in your bank account?
yeah, wow.
At one point I'm like, you're at negative 50 cents. They still took the bill out of the bank card even though I only had this. Well, yo, that's like, yo, I had $40 in my account. I checked just a while ago. I didn't know they were gonna pull it out this week. I thought I was gonna wait, and I have negative 15, and I don't get paid this week. I get paid the week after. That was hilarious, but that was a serious situation.
It was.
Phone cutting off, yo, my phone cut off still. But like,
But that's not like what he's really trying to get into.
we're not laughing to hate each other. We're laughing because we all been through it.
There,
in this
right.
scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he wants to be like, pow, and
I'm
Sounds like he's a
outside.
shadow.
I'm out,
Yeah.
like I'm
And then
outside.
the real man's are outside, and he's like, I'm going back to my gated community.
That's a fascinating thing about the States. That whole gated
Well.
community. You pull up in your car and like, who are you? Are you here for someone?
The problem is like,
All right, come in.
I think that's what's being promoted in music, to be hood and outside, even though people don't realize the trap in that. Like, let me understand. Here's the thing about
example, one of the top streaming Stitch streamers was in a jail.
But hold on, okay. When we go back there, let's just be very careful.
That was a weird.
Let's be very careful on that one because
I'm sad. Other collaborator. So I'm sad that other.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Before we jump on that though,
Yeah.
keep in mind there were actually some good that came out of that that stream.
Oh,
Even though it looked like it was in a jail, like I think we need to look into it a little bit more before we make the assumption that niggas in jail.
Listen.
Like we need to.
Even if I did take some time to go and look into it, I still would not like to promote the idea of what it was anyways.
And I understand that.
Right? There's an example of someone who has privilege and decided to do that.
that's damn.
But that is different.
Damn.
Is it?
That
It seems like it's on the right track. Same track.
I don't think.
I was sad when I saw certain
You can't
class.
say privilege, man. You can't say.
When I saw
Top
certain like.
streaming is top grossing. What are they making?
What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
No. When I saw top, not just him, but like other collaborators, right? I was kind of like, damn, you're in a skit, because it was in a. It's basically like a 7-day skit, 24. I'm like, oh, you went in, and you did it. I didn't expect you guys to do it. I'll say the name way after, but
But there's a thing to it that I think that has like I'm not saying that for me it doesn't matter. But it's like there's that side about it. There's a good side to it at the same time. Like it was 24-hour stream. It's not always like hood stuff all the time. I think they did some positive stuff in the midst of it.
Yeah, but still.
I'm gonna have to catch highlights of that because like
yeah, they did some positive spots.
No, you know what I did with that? So one of the days, like I just like logged in just to pique my curiosity, and then I think I had the volume on mute, and I was just watching it, just pictures moving, right? I was weirded out. No, I'm not gonna lie. I was watching it, and I was like, yo, this is weird still.
Well,
and you just see the chat going, and remember, it's kids. That's what makes it weird. It's like
That's why.
I'm like, this is weird.
the one time I saw it was like a motivational thing. Like they were all in the like on the bench and they were all like talking about like
saying
how
nice
they got
things
where
to
they
each
got
other.
and da 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 and and I'm like, okay, this seems cool. And then I turned it off and then I seen the funny clips and I was like, okay.
But even then, so like that's what I mean. It's still the promotion of these environments that at one point in time was considered frowned upon, something to be ashamed of. Okay, but clearly the world is changing, right? Because people are promoting it now instead of saying, "Hey, let's not."
Promoting is a tough word.
Sexy Red's new video, it was wild. Sexy Red's new video, she's not only like she's pregnant, right? But then she's dancing in the jail. I thought that was very, this thing is very weirdly pushed.
Because like, how many times would you ever see growing up on like BET or anything? Would you ever see a pregnant woman spitting in jail?
But I mean,
here's
the thing.
That's a wild.
But here's the thing. BT has changed dramatically.
Exactly.
But new owners,
yeah, they used to remember the Boondocks already stated it with BT.
But that's what I'm saying. Like in this world right now, the world that we are currently in, because the world that we grew up in is completely different from what is current. Right? Can we say that?
The only jail thing I remember is like Akon's locked up, but Akon was explaining.
Yeah,
and Styles P was explaining.
Thing.
Yeah.
Like they were using it more from a metaphoric perspective versus like some of these things. This is legit. Like they really are rapping about like I was in jail for 7 days with me and my baby. Like
that's
cool.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean by the promotion of it.
Here's my thing. This was always my thing when it came to like man's love Scarface. Oh yo, this drug movie, that drug movie. Yeah. It sounds great. How did it end?
But how did...
Yeah, everybody died. Basically.
How did it end?
Yeah.
Your money long worth, your less band shorter. Is your money long worth? Even Snowfall, yeah. How did it end?
I don't know how it ends. Don't tell me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of...
Because even watching that show was...
The Wire. All these shows, how did it end in the end? Like,
the Wire's a good one.
The streets is not somewhere you want to dance with because you never win. And the hardest, honestly, is I'll say this for like the Toronto rappers. I'll say this for like every artist that and communities. If you guys were just together, you would see some crazy shift. You would see some craziness, but it probably won't happen. Unless, it just won't happen. I mean, I feel like it has to be, like, supernatural for certain things to happen.
You're going supernatural?
Supernatural. Like, Jesus has to be in the midst.
Or
for man to actually, like, squash beef and say, yo, we're going to work together. Or we're going to do something positive. And then, like, niggas, people just saying, yo, let's work together. Because the way I see it, even with Toronto music and certain things, there's some people that there's a ceiling, there's a glass ceiling.
That you can feel it in Toronto.
I'll say it like this. It's like this squad is beefing with this squad. And they're hitting the glass ceiling, but this glass ceiling's not breaking.
Yeah.
If they just went together, they could break the ceiling. There's a lot of artists and all this stuff. If they just figured out a way to just push through, for themselves, not for like Rolling Loud.
Right.
For themselves to push through, somehow support each other. I don't know. There's a lot of bloodshed that makes it more complicated.
Right.
But like, if there was just a way that mans can just put everything aside and say, "Yo, let's ceasefire for a bit," let's
ceasefire altogether.
or
Not
whatever.
even for a bit, altogether.
I'm just saying so they can see a result. Of course, I love it all together, but let's be realistic.
Altogether. Listen.
There's always someone figuring it out, man.
Yeah, somebody's gonna figure it out, but like, that's the part.
If I had the money, I probably would do something like that. I'd probably do a thing where it's like, "Hey guys," but they probably put me to jail because I'm like organizing crime.
Would you be organizing crime, or would you be a not-for-profit supporting artists, developing artists?
No, but the second one's okay. The second one sounds nice, but how they'll label
you is
he's giving them together and
he's getting gangs to get together and feed the kids and support talent of gang violence.
Yeah, but
that can't happen. Look at him.
Yeah,
he's not smiling in his photos. He's dangerous.
See, even more reasons why. What is the point of T.I.'s son going into the streets? It just reiterates that point.
I'm not gonna lie. The way I see it, these kids hasn't been shaken by like elderly yet. Like these kids they're just going in a certain way and they're being raised a certain way that like they can talk to their elders any type of way. I feel like there has to be like a time you gotta exert it. Hey, stop it!
Why?
Just put them down.
Why?
Because
what?
They have to learn.
You're saying soft parenting is not working?
I don't think so. Soft, but it has to be an assertive. There's lack of assertiveness.
But that same aggression and exertion also is a part of the level of capacity and temperament.
To what?
Of like exertion. Where do you think a lot of people learn their abuse from? Except from the one who they
I didn't say abuse.
I'm just saying.
I did not say.
I'm using that extreme, right? But like people who raise their voice
could jump real quick
at other people, where do you think they learn to raise their voice at other people from?
I'm not saying to raise the voice in the sense, because someone's gonna raise their voice. You live in a world that people just be raising their voice.
You definitely said
there has to be a way.
Simpson and Bart relationship, right?
No, I said, hey, stop it.
What is that not? What is that? Holding them by the shoulders and jolting them a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with jolting them a little bit.
That's actually considered abuse now, in this world.
Well, until
that kid starts jolting me.
That's but then you see,
and then that's domestic abuse, isn't it?
I mean,
and harassment at that point.
That's the other end of it.
It gets to the point when the kid starts looking at me when I'm telling you need to stop, and the kid's looking at me like
what?
Stop.
No, but that's how the clip played out.
What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen now?
What is gonna happen?
If you could put your kid in a headlock?
You ever watch those Shaolin movies?
I mean, you're good.
You ever see those? It's Word of Ninja Man. Imagine, I have to train my student and kill him in front of the people. Them. I'm not saying I'm gonna kill my child, but like,
no, I hear you. I hear you.
But it's just
Yeah, that was just crazy.
Well, okay. So
That was just good.
Given the circumstances,
I'm
right?
not saying I'll kill my child. I'm just saying. Like,
I think from a parent perspective, right? T.I. has probably gone through so much, as we can see. He's gone through so much, and he's done the most that he could do.
I think T.I. knew he was pissed off.
To ensure the betterment of his child, right? Children. Because as we can see, his other children are in different paths than his youngest. Being that this is he the youngest child altogether? Because I know they have daughters. He's the youngest son.
I just want to correct one thing. Shoot, how gangster can I be today?
I was gonna say, I think T.I. when he grabbed his child, he just grabbed him. And was like, hey, partner, you're expeditiously acting like a little nut. Don't let me hurt you supremacially, because the multitude of this argument is going to be a problematic situation.
Partner. I can't with you right now.
Okay? And you have to give him the man strength to be like, hey, remember who you are, partner.
Not just
expeditiously.
Not just that one, but I remember
situation.
Didn't he? There was an allegation where they put a jacket on him for checking someone's hymen, one of his children.
Yes.
You see.
Why did we? How did we get here?
So it's like
also part of the thing.
Because now it's more like what's going on in the household.
And that's the reason why I say this, right?
If King's going, nah, you didn't come to the band though. You stand on that?
And it's kind of left field, but I mean.
And then you got T.S. saying, yeah, check her hymen. You're like, what are you, bro?
No,
what are you talking about, bro? Hey boy, what y'all talking about? T.I., what do you, hey boy, what y'all talking about? Huh? What's going on?
But yes, the privilege part.
King said he's grandma's baby. He said,
Yo,
so maybe okay. So then is that so? There okay. There's so many things being said here. Let's make it make sense, please.
I can't take credit, but I heard there's theory that maybe King looks at the grandma as the real mom.
Yeah, and I was about to say that. So as you're talking about parents needing to enforce more, I guess, punishment or some authority, if his authority figure is his grandmother, and that's the person who actually gave him care and well-being, she's not someone who's going to be hard. She probably, I don't know what the grandmother looks like, right? And my automatic stereotype for grandmother, so I excuse me when I say this, is that I'm thinking of somebody who's a little bit less mobile, not as young and jovial, and probably will not have the ability to enforce that type of level of authority in an obedience type of way, right? He's 19, so he's at an age, especially here in Canada, he's at an age where he'd be making his own decisions, point blank period, legally. Yeah, that would have been a year now. You'd be 18.
Well, you can't go on like that in your parents' pockets. Like, it's kind of weird.
But says who? Weird. Says who?
I mean...
Says who and why? He's an adult. By our standards, he's an adult.
Yes.
To respect his parents, we don't know what type of relationship his parents have brought him. So, can he respect people who have not respected him?
I mean
I'll just say to my future child, if you ever get to see this podcast, some of that stuff you ain't gonna fly. It ain't gonna fly with your papas still. You ain't gonna fly with me. I'm sorry. I'm just letting you know. I know you hear this, but whenever you get to ever see my podcast, young lad, you try that. You try me, you gonna find out.
Rolling. Is that a warning?
You try me, you're gonna find out.
Is that a warning?
Try me, you'll find it. You try to size me up because your little bucko friends is teaching you these things, or these gangsters try to size them. I'ma curl your stomach.
Damn.
Wow.
I'm not I'm not. It's not abuse. Not in that sense. Not like, I don't think I'm gonna. It's just there's certain things that I was raised that I feel like. I'm not saying abuse is the way, but there's something you gotta shake before. I rather me teach you than the streets.
Well.
Okay.
I mean.
I felt like every belt lick stopped me from a bullet.
Hey, whoa, that's.
Okay.
That's.
That's probably one part of it.
That's an interesting.
You never know. You just never know. You know what I mean?
It's an interesting analogy. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Like.
I mean, like.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Don't
get
me wrong. It can shift and be like, and that none of that works.
Well, that's the other thing too, right? Like that's
none
what I mean. Like
works.
It depends on the environment that this child is in, right? Yeah. Like as you said, if say for example, like one thing I can definitely say. Growing up, I had friends where their parents thought that I was a bad influence, right? They thought that I was going the wrong direction. They didn't think that they should be associated with me in any which way. When I think of those friends now, I'm the one who's actually in the right direction.
Oh, shoot. Wow.
Right? So it's just one of those things where it's like, no matter who, what, it's really the environment.
Yeah.
That's really it. Like, who are your kids hanging out with? They're my friends' parents. They said that about me. My parents, they also had their little thing, but they're like, no, you go and hang out with these people. But one thing's for sure, and second thing's for certain. There are certain things about people that you need to be mindful of.
Right.
So there are messages that they said. They said, no, you can hang out with them. But just know that this person is probably going to betray you. This person is probably going to do this to you. This person is probably going to leave you somewhere. And that person is whatever. You don't believe me? Cool. Don't believe me. But when it does happen, give me my respect.
Wow.
No, and that's true.
And you're saying
That's true too.
you're saying all these things happen.
And all these things happen.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that was my parents. So for me, it's kind of like I was given parents who had insight. And they didn't have to...
Tell you.
They didn't have to beat me with a buckle for it. But they just simply said, this is what it is. And you may not believe me, but I'll let the dice fall where they need to fall.
Oh shit! Wow.
Problem is,
Oh.
the whole concept, I don't see no one beating Pitney. But like, yes, there's a certain point where it gets out of hand. It gets kind of crazy. And that's the thing. Like, I don't think nowadays, maybe if I raise my kid, I probably don't have to. I probably just take away their tablet and they lose their mind.
Okay.
Nowadays.
But do you feel
But,
like your 19-year-old self, do you think your parents should have been throwing hands at you?
I wouldn't talk to my parents like that at 19.
I hear you.
I would never.
But do you think it would have been okay if your parents did?
Throwing hands is what, or put you in a full Nelson.
No, they didn't. Cause since it's for TS and they didn't necessarily throw hands. But
got aggressive or physical? Do you think at 19, your 19 self, regardless of what the comment may have been, even if it's the slightest disagreement?
due to that situation, I when I say like throwing hands or like, I wouldn't say at 19 because I think at 19 that child should know better.
Yeah, they should know better. But this is also coming from the mindset of somebody who has experience.
I guess. So so you're saying at 19 you think I should be obligated to throw hands on my child?
No, I don't think you should. I think you should be letting them grow.
Should be able to talk.
Yeah, like you should be able to have a conversation.
No, you can always grow, but like I'm gonna be honest with you and say like, hey, listen, how dare you? I put you in the best schools. I did this and I give it. It was a chess move, so you don't get step-toed by no step-toed.
That sounds like pride.
You know?
That sounds like pride.
Oh no.
And ego.
That's what Big Gerald should have talked to his son and said.
But that's what I'm saying. That sounds like pride and ego. That sounds like pride and ego.
It's not big.
Because Because
you got to teach your child, hey, you want to talk about this and this, but
yes.
hey, you live in this.
But
I did this for you.
Exactly.
Me
And that's what I'm
your
saying.
mother.
That's what I'm saying. That's pride and ego.
No, you just have to check the child and say, you would not be where you are if it wasn't for me and your thing. Respect my authority.
Okay. And that still is pride and ego.
On whose part?
On the parents.
Yes, I take a lot of pride in my children.
Right.
You have to.
Right.
You have to.
And if they went, you decided to go and put your child in a place, and yes, you thought it was the best idea for them and for their growth. But then look, and lo and behold, they are not doing on their own volition what you have sought it out to go and do.
I don't have them start out to do only thing. I'll give them the opportunity to be as creative as they want to be.
But if they're going onto the streets, we're using this as a scenario.
The streets is something. Yes, that scenario about talking. Don't bring no street talk to me if you're not a part of that.
But that's what I'm saying. At what point was right? Like the pride of taking care of your child and saying that they are now.
That would be acknowledged early because I think you're going to be able to see the signs in your child that they're trying to be straight.
You should.
And I'd be like, no, that is not you, son, daughter. That is not you.
That's what I'm saying.
You. I think you train that early.
Which makes this story interesting is the fact that, not the fact, but like, it's implied he was with the grandmother a long time.
His former years. 12 years is your literally where you learn everything.
Right.
It says, train the child the way it should go.
Yes.
And will not depart from it. Not teach, not talk, not think.
Yes.
Train.
As they say, spare the rod and spoil the child.
Whatever that may be. Train. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be belt. I'm not gonna be being.
I don't think I would.
I'm gonna send them back to Jamaica.
I cannot.
Or do
Are they Jamaican?
I mean,
We'll take the
schooling is better out there. Well, I don't know how it's changed, but schooling is better out there. But I guess we should wrap this up.
Wrap it up. Or I was gonna say quickly, how people from Nigeria be like, "I'll send you back to Nigeria," and be like, "Damn it,
I
no!"
said you on a first class flight to Nigeria, first class, you know.
But you're going back to Nigeria. That's because you're misbehaving, though. Like you're just like, yo. Hey, man.
And that's when you deal with the family members. They gotta check you and you anyway.